Oh, I'm so dark. Jeez. Can you see my face? My light's not working. Shadow. This is crazy. This is terrible. 1 2 1 2. 1 2 1 2. Thank you guys. Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Can you guys hear me? Well, I'm hoping you guys can hear me out there. This microphone says you can hear me. So I'm hoping you guys can hear me. All right. Maybe if I take this, I'll take this off. I hear you, brother. All right, Lady G. All right, my hair looks terrible. We're just gonna have to deal with it. Wait a minute. There it is. All right, Ice Cube tripping. For real though, I think he's controlled opposition. All right, so you guys already know where I'm going with this, and okay, so he talked to Roland Martin, right? And when he was talking to Roland Martin, for one, let me say this: I respect Roland Martin. I don't know what his position is, other than he is a bevy of knowledge. I respect the fact that he gets right into it with people and he gets right into the numbers. So when I was looking at him talking Ice Cube for a short span, he asked Ice Cube some questions, and Ice Cube was talking about the 5 billion or million or whatever, or 500 million that's supposed to go to black people. And Roland Martin asked him a legitimate question. He was asking him to pretty much explain how that's going to go to black people and what program you're talking about. And Ice Cube was stumped. He couldn't answer him. And so, Flores, peace up. Yeah, peace up to you. But anyways, he was explaining, and he couldn't explain it. And then Roland Martin was just like, well, wait a minute, that money is not allocated just to black people. Those are for particular programs, but they're not programs that just go to black people. Housing funds and all this. A lot of these funds are not for, just for black people to bring up the housing and the black neighborhoods. That's not how things are usually done. That money is usually, if you're going to get that money, that money is trickled into the state, and then the state legislators go ahead and take that money and get it to, programs, NAACP and, HBCUs. And listen, I went to an HBCU. They got their money from the government. They got a lot of their grant money from the government because the HBCU that I went to was actually built by slaves. It's Talladega University. So it's built by slaves. So they get their money from the government. And even though they were getting their money from the government, what those black people were doing is they were taking it from the students. So there was a mass exodus in 1996 of a bunch of students leaving Talladega, the school I went to. I left myself because they were taking the money from the students and they were charging the students ridiculous prices. And it turns out that Tuskegee and a lot of these other HBCUs, what they would do, they did the same thing. They would just jump from one place to another, take their whole staff and everything, go from one HBCU to another and rip off the students. And so the students were living in pretty much squalor. A lot of our programs were shut down. We had no football team. We had a baseball team, but that barely survived. Track went totally out the window. I was there on a track scholarship. Boom, shut down. So let's get it straight. You're talking about all this money going into black people's hands and stuff like that. It's not always good. Now, I also listened to Dr. Umar Johnson, and he was talking about When did we become the field Negroes for the Democratic Party? And he was saying, why is it bad for Ice Cube to have a plan for black people? He said, and he said Joe Biden's not a guarantee that Joe Biden will get in. So why not go to Donald Trump with a plan? And I'm agreeing with him on that. I'm I'm like this. Too many coincidences, Tone. I'm not buying this. I'm not buying it either. The only thing Ice Cube knows about money is spending it. Well, Ice Cube is actually a very good businessman. He tripping. It's a divide and conquer tactic by Esau. by Esau. So Ice Cube is a very good businessman. But here's the thing. So you have people telling you, who are on the forefront, these rappers, especially these rappers. So you got Ice Cube. You got T.I., he's also getting very political. You have Master P, but Master P is not getting political. Master P is doing exactly what he's been doing, talking about business, and I love it. But you have T.I. getting out in the political arena, being heard. You got Ice Cube getting out there, and you got Snoop Doggy Dogg, who has a lot of comments, so on and so forth. And when I look at those three people, and I reverse time 20 years ago, they were doing the exact opposite. They did the exact opposite for the community. They tore the community up. There are so many bodies in the grave because of what those three did. Just those three, just the music that they put out and they benefited from. There are thousands of people dead from listening to their music. You gotta understand, Snoop Doggy Dogg, when his album first came out, first he put out singles. When his album first came out, it was sold out before it was in the stores. All right. Okay. And he wasn't talking about anything good. Nothing. T.I. Was constantly talking about how he was a rubber band man. He was the one who was talking about putting $50,000 hits on somebody's head. Ice Cube he made Kill at Will. If you ever heard Kill at Will, just the album, there's not one thing that these three were talking about that benefited the community. Not one. They were all a blight to the community. So for them to be grandfathers now and turn around and try to uplift the community and try to do, no, you're not going to do it for me. I'd rather listen to Professor Griff. I listen to him in a heartbeat. I'd rather listen to the Brand Nubians, Lauryn Hill, because they've been talking about the same thing ever since they came out. They've been spitting the same knowledge, especially Lauryn Hill. They've been spitting the same knowledge. Professor Griff been spitting the same knowledge from day one to now. So listen. I don't personally have something like against them. Like, I don't wish nothing on those three, but they can't get me in a conference room and for me to take them seriously. There is way too much blood on their hands. And I understand that they were being used by, I understand it 100%. They were being used by the Jews to put out that terrible music so people can go out and shoot and kill each other and rob and steal and all that stuff. And that's exactly what they did. And those three sat by and they made millions of dollars off of it. So they can't get me in a room and for me to be like, yeah, I'm behind you 100%. I may listen to some things they have to say, but I'm always going to think of how many dead bodies have your name on it. Snoop Doggy, who? What? Dog. Yeah, you made that music, bro. You benefited from that. And that's always going to be on my mind because I lived through that Holocaust. And that's a strong word, but that's exactly what it was. I lived through it. I watched it go down. You know what I'm saying? I have friends who are in the grave because of their music. And some of it wasn't even that long ago. I just can't. I just can't with these three. But Umar Johnson is right. There's nothing wrong with somebody stepping up and saying, hey, Mr. President, Professor Griffiths has brains. He a real cat. Yeah. They got they got too much blood on their hands. Listen, it's not even an accident. They knew they were being used by the system. They were aware. NWA, Dr. Dre, they were aware. Dr. Dre was doing turn off the lights. I mean, he came from a world class wrecking crew. Him and Michelle A. Do 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 do. Come on, do 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 do. Nah, man, come on. No, no, I'm not having it. I'm not having it. Was it the world class wrecking crew? I think it was. Wearing silk shirts and whatnot. Then all of a sudden you were a gangster and no, get out of here. It was all business, and it was business to tear down the communities and for the local gangs to turn on each other, and they did. And there's just too many bodies in the ground for me to ever look at any of them and just give them a complete pass. It just is not going to happen. I just can't do it. You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, is it okay for them to stand up and talk about it? Yeah, that's fine. Because what I do know is, although I hated what they did to the community, I hated it. I realized that, they were part of a system that they were not in control of. And they were talking about what was really going on in their hoods, even though they were part of the problem. So, you can't come down completely on someone for talking about what's going on in their hood, but you can if they're perpetuating it. If you're the one who's perpetuating it, then you're the problem. You know what I mean? So I've never been to LA, but, listening to their music, they pretty much let me know where not to go. So I was grateful of that. And, I knew a little homeboy. We were dating. The girl I was dating, he was dating her sister. And I only met him once. And he was like, yeah, I'm going to move out to L.A. He moved out there. And the next time I saw her, I said, what happened to you? Your dude, how's he doing? She was like, they killed him. They robbed him and just killed him. They were trying to jack his car. And they just shot and killed him. So, it's not like what they're saying about going out there to these places isn't true. It's very true. What up, Is? How's the family and the dog, man? But it's very true. But can Ice Cube and them represent me? I can't. I mean, I don't have a big name. You know what I mean? I'm not going to stop them from doing good. But I can't really say he speaks for me. I just can't really sit up here and say, yeah, this is who I want to represent me. Somebody who has blood on their hands. That will never, ever, ever go away. Ever, ever go away. It'll never happen. There are people who are still listening to their music and dying for it. No, I'm never going to do that for those three people who were self-claiming to be gangsters and didn't give any young person any advice that was worth their, they didn't tell none of these black boys and girls to, save their life. They were telling them to be hard and to slap women and to rob and steal and murder and do everything under the sun that God is against. That's what these guys did. And telling the young girls to be tramps and let me do all these sexual things to you, and that's just how it is, and I'm just gonna leave you on the curb. And these young people listen to this, and now you have what you got. You just got people who are out there lost in the sauce from listening to this music and getting caught up, and some of that demographic of those people who were lost. It's because of you. So, and goofies like me who never got into the game, never wanted to be a gangster, who God kept a watch over me because I was broke and wanted to start making money some kind of way. I was looking for ways to make money. I was homeless, hungry. So absolutely I was looking for ways, but I never got into the game. It wasn't for me. I'm not built like that. I'm not cut from cloth where, you gotta live like that. It's just not for me. You know what I'm saying? I'm a regular, everyday, wake up, thank the Lord for the day. I'm an everyday dude. I'm not a gangster. I don't want to be a gangster. I don't want to be nowhere close to that atmosphere. It's just not me. But I watched how all these people lost their lives because of what these three had done. So I just can't say that Ice Cube can speak for me. But I can say that if he gets money that's allocated towards black people, towards a black community, even if it doesn't come to me, if he gets some of these young people, if he does something to get some of these young people straight, get them off the street, get them off that lean, and get them off of all this other drugs, and get some of these, get some of these young mothers help and help these fathers, stand up and not, getting, mothers and fathers out of jail. And what I'm saying, if he's gonna do that, if he's gonna, get these people out of jail, and because we have the highest incarceration on the planet here in America, if he can get some of them free, then yeah, go for it, Ice Cube, do that, free some of these people. If he can get the police, because I think that's what T.I. was doing. When what's his name was killed out in L.A. when Nipsey Hussle was killed, immediately T.I. was like, I'm gonna go and talk to the chief of police. So I'll clean your stove and be a pro. I don't know what that is. You talking about cleaning stoves. Cleaning stoves is not easy. No man speaks for no man unless it's your parent or in some military or police officer. But besides that, no one cares about those jokers. Yeah, I just can't get beside these guys all of a sudden speaking up. And I know what they're trying to do. They're trying to erase their history. Many of the new cats don't know the dirt tone. Yeah, this is true. Us Generation X know that this is true. They hurt a lot of people. They hurt a lot of people. You know what I mean? And I couldn't understand what was going on until, I got older and found out that, it was, the Jewish who were pushing this, and there's a whole, if you listen to Professor Griff, he'll talk about it. And then there's a whole documentary on the actual Jewish people talking about it. How they didn't want to hear anything positive. Back in 1991, that's when it all stopped. Self-destruction. They were like, we don't want to hear none of that. We don't want to hear none of that. Queen Latifah, Queendom. We don't want to hear none of that. All of a sudden, you stop hearing that. You stop hearing MC Lyte talking about light as a rock. You start hearing everybody come out and talk about how much they hate each other, how much they, go and beat up your neighbor, their black neighbor. Go and shoot your black neighbor down. And this was NWA pushing this. And all of a sudden, love and love songs and dancing and all that, me and my goofy self, I was still out there, thinking that I was cool. Next thing you know, women start calling me gay. I'm like, I'm just dancing. Oh, it's gay to dance. I'm happy. Oh, it's gay to be happy. You're homosexual. Like, we need you to yell at me and slap me and do all that stuff. I'm like, what happened to you women? What happened? And, that's what they went for. And so, I wasn't really built like that. I was a soft, sing-songy guy. You know what I'm saying? I wanted to sing to my woman. I wanted to do like the Whispers, rock steady. I wanted to be like those brothers, switch the time. You know what I'm saying? The Brother Johnsons. I wanted to be Strawberry 22. You know what I'm saying? When you start to ask, is it true? I want to be cool like that. You know what I'm saying? Hat to the side, roll up on the honey. But all of a sudden, if you're not a gangster, the females don't want you, and it just there's so many single mothers. The marriage rate went marriage. These women ain't talking about marriage. No. If you marry one of them, they're going to cheat on you. They're going to cheat on you before the wedding, during the wedding, and after the wedding. You if you were a straight lace regular dude with a regular JLB, you get no love, and that's still that way today. And you won't get these girls until these women, these goofy chicks until they get older and in their 40s, and then they're like, oh, I want a good dude now, and they got 5 different children, about 5 different dudes, and it's like all 5 of those could have been mine. I could have, but you want to listen to these goofy dudes. And this is the music that's streaming on the radio now. I can't even listen to the radio. So no, Ice-T. No, I can't do it. You may pull the wool over these younger people's eyes, but I know exactly what you are. Now, like I said, he's a good businessman, but yes, trash music. Trash music. But like I said, he may pull the wool over these younger guys because they didn't listen to their music. They didn't, their mothers did. Their mothers and fathers did. There's a good chance their mothers and fathers aren't together. You know what I mean? Growing up listening to F the Police. How many people do you think got killed from listening to F the Police? Now, we understand that the police are terrible. The police are terrible. You know what I'm saying? So I understood some of it, you know what I'm saying, when they start talking about what the police do. But Flavor Flav was talking about the police. Flavor Flav made a whole song talking about 911 is a joke. But yet he was still trying to lift up the community. You know what I'm saying? So there's just a way to do it where everybody, you can still stay alive. You can still keep your wits about you when you encounter the cops instead of having this attitude toward the police and they just gun you down and then go on vacation and nobody cares because of the way they perceive you. They make you out to be the bad guy even though the police shot you 11 times and you pretty much did nothing but just the look on your face. That's it. You're the enemy. And you get swept right under the rug like nothing happened. Fight the power. That's right. Fight the power. I mean, I was listening to Fight the Power and I felt powerful. I felt like I was growing. And you know what else I felt? Black. See, black people are the only race that got pride because of what we've been through. I felt proud. I felt like, like there's a family outside of my family and we're all in it together. That's what I felt like listening to that. You got to fight the power that be. And there were goofies, running around just like me. And I call us goofies because we were not going to the club to fight. We were going to the club to look for the ladies. Until the club became a murder scene every time you went. The club we used to go to the club to look for the chicks in the Jordache jeans and slow dance. It was like, oh my God, if you can get a cutie and slow dance with her, oh my God, and then go to school the next day, you was that dude. You was that dude. Period. He was that dude. And so that was our goal. We didn't go there to start fighting with people. I was like, I don't care about y'all. I'm there for the honeys. But everything changed up. Everything changed up. You couldn't go to the club and look for the honey. Shoot. You go to the club, look for the honeys. You don't know nobody there. You're gonna get beat up. Heck, I took a girl to the club. She left with somebody else. I was on the wrong side of town. As soon as I walked in there with her, about 5 different guys was looking at me. I was like, it's about to be all bad. I just looked at her because she brought me to this club. I said, listen, if they jump on me, I'm gonna jump on you. I'm telling you right now, you brought me here. And that was the end of our conversation. We never had a conversation again. She left with them. I got the hell out of there. And that was that. Only seen her once again. We never had a conversation. But I'm saying that that should have never happened. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's more women on the face of the earth than there are men. So I blame a lot of that on the music that's putting over the airways because that's what it was meant to do. Now, as far as the plan that Ice Cube had, I don't know what it is. The $500 million that Donald Trump was talking about, I think it's all because of the election. He wasn't saying this, 2 years ago because, this would have already been implemented. We would have already felt the financial difference. $500 million is a lot of dollars. It just doesn't take that much to get that money into your local legislators, into your local leaders and heads of community, and to start turning that money into something positive without gentrification. Now, where I used to live, that whole area has been gentrified. You don't see black people there anymore. All of those people are being swept out. They're being pushed out of town, like literally. And you're seeing more police presence. You see more white people. You see more dogs. You know what I'm saying? You're seeing a lot of that. You're not seeing the same people out there. So they're not taking money and allocating it into black neighborhoods. They're taking money and kicking the black people out and fixing up those neighborhoods, and then telling the black people that, you don't belong here. They're looking at the black people in the neighborhood like, what are you doing here? Like, I grew up here, bastard. What are you doing here? You know what I'm saying? Like, where'd you come from? You just moved here 2 years ago. All of a sudden you own this. Like, yeah, we own the houses here. Like, you don't know these streets. You know what I'm saying? You don't know these streets like we do. You don't know the blood and sweat and tears that went into these, these streets, out all these streets here, and how we had to protect these streets, from other people. You don't know nothing about that. You just come down here and call 50 every time a black man looks at you wrong. And here they come, pick us up without any question, just to get us out of your way. You don't know nothing. So it's different now. 7-to-1 women to man ratio on earth tone. Oh, hey, you go to some cities, it's 14-to-1. It's 14-to-1, bro. Yeah, he has. It's 14-to-1. I mean, these women are scrapping. Like, I seen a documentary where it's a small rural town. I think it was in Alabama, and the reason why they was doing a documentary on it is for 2 reasons. One, there were like 8 to 9 women. I think it was even worse than that to every man. And they said if any man comes into this neighborhood and has a half decent job, you're going to have about 8 or 9 women that will be knocking on their door immediately. Like, they're not even shy about it now. It's not like it's a race to get to that person now. And they said, but the only thing about it is the majority of the people in that neighborhood have AIDS. I was like, that's not a fair trade-off. Yeah, you would think you'd be like 8 or 9 women. Yeah, you have your own harem. No, they were all sick. They were all sick. I don't know what neighborhood it was, what little town it was, but it's like a backwoods. No AIDS from me. Yeah, me either. Me either. And I was like, well, dang. So you can't, I mean, they're just going to be hounding you. You're going to be like, I can't because I don't know what you have. I don't have it. And I don't want it. So it's just, you just don't want to move there. But basically that's what it was about. I'm sure you can look it up on YouTube. It was some place in Alabama. But I was listening to this other young lady. She was talking about how she saw this dude, and she hit on him. When she hit on old boy, he was with it. But he told her, he was like, "Hey, I got a girl." She was like, "And?" She's like, and so they were messing around for a while, and she said then the woman found out and wanted to, of course, beat her up. And she said she wasn't with that. She's like, I'm not doing that. I'm not going to fight you, over him. So she just, left him alone. But the thing about it is, she said, I live in a city where it's 14-1. If we can take your man, we're going to take him. I mean, just imagine that. Just imagine that type of competitive nature right here, right now, out of females. Like, you just wouldn't think, but it's real. I don't have none of that mix going on because I don't go out, I don't party, I don't do none of those things. So my house is quiet. You know what I'm saying? I've already been through a lot of that, but that's a problem that's never going to go away unless you're allowed to marry more than one female. A lot of females are like, no, I don't want to share. Well, don't share. It's not for you. But I can only see that problem being cured if you're allowed to marry more than one woman, and they all were, with the program. That's the way the Lord set it up to all these. Yeah, yeah, and so I'm like, well, if there's 14-1, then not only do a lot of them have sexual transmitted diseases, but so many guys are talking about how to how to really. Oh yeah, yeah. The bedroom is. That's because there's like the music that you hear is not. I love you. Like I was like this dude OG Cyrus or whatever his name is, Osiris. 6ix9ine was clowning him because he was talking about loving his woman. So 6ix9ine was trolling him. This is the same guy who made Fifi. You're trolling a man, a full-grown man. This is not a child. This is a man talking about how he would cater to his woman and treat his woman good and, take her out, open doors for her, and just be a complete. And this is wrong according to today's society. This is not what you do with a woman. You do the complete opposite. Get in the car. You're paying for your own food. I'm not helping you with anything. Lay down, turn around, get up, bye. That's it. There's no love in the music. There's no love in the community. There's not. It's just all sucked right out through what you're listening to. And I tell people, look, turn it off. Turn that poison off. Because I saw what it did to a community. I saw who was at the forefront of it. It was Ice Cube. I saw who was at the front of that. Nah, bro, you can't speak for me. Hold on, my nose is. Can't speak for me, bro. Speak for yourself. Can't speak for me. I speak for myself on that tip. You know, you made all your money by. I mean, you made the beginning of your money. You made millions off of blood money to me. That's the way I look at it. Chivalry is dead, Tone. These young cats spawn monsters. Oh my God. I mean, some of these young people, they have no respect. And these girls, you can forget it. You can forget it. I've seen the neighborhood beauty turn from just a beautiful person to a complete monster. And I was like, what happened to you? Like, I don't know what happened to her, but once them boys got to her, she was a complete, and I used to tell her, I said, you better stop what you're doing, you know. But just a complete monster. And I've had my family members, you know, some of my family members, you know, young girls. I'm just like, what are you doing? And why? But you can't tell them anything because they think they're going to be young forever, for one. They think they're smarter than you. You can't tell them what to do. They know everything. So you got to let them bump their head. And then they go out here, and next thing you know, they have children. You know, they're in trouble with the police. I mean, they're getting arrested. You know, they're in close quarters with a bunch of strangers and not knowing what's going to happen. Next thing you know, somebody takes advantage of them, and there's nothing that they can do. You know what I'm saying? You're not going to fight a bunch of these guys, these grown men. You're not going to fight them. You're going to do exactly what they say and hope you get out of there alive. That's what you're going to do. And that's exactly what happened to some of these girls. You know, and they were just like, yeah, it happened to me. I'm like, I told you to stop doing what you're doing because somebody, you're going to go to somebody's house and they're not going to be your friend and they're not going to be alone. And that's exactly what happened to her. And you think it stopped her? No, she kept doing the same thing. It's like you can't. All you can do is just step back. You're like you can't do anything because that's what they want. They want to live this dangerous facade of a life. But when one of them ends up in the grave, we're supposed to feel sorry for them. I'm like, I don't feel sorry for you. When they end up behind bars and all this stuff, you're supposed to feel. I'm like, I don't. You're on the street now. This is your life. This is what you chose. You know, you had all the love in the world. You had people who loved you, told you every day that they loved you. You had a mother who loved you, a father who loved you, told you every day, we love you. We want to take care of you. And you ran away to be with God only knows who. And now you ever seen the soft white underbelly? Look at just look it up on YouTube. Look up soft white underbelly. It'll just break your heart. It'll just break your heart. Yeah. Yeah. Blame it on the alcohol. You're in preschool. And when you start hearing about these little boys and girls, just things happening to them, you start looking at the parents like, you know, these parents are crying, oh my baby. It's just like, bro, you're a terrible parent. Like you're listening to Megan, the horse, and Cardi B whop right in front of your 6-year-old. And she's whopping right in front of you and you act like it's okay. It's like, oh, you think nobody else sees this? You think the dangerous people out there, see, that's the thing about it. And then you put it on YouTube like it's cute. You put it on Facebook, it's cute. You have a whole party and there are people there you don't know and ones that you know. Ones that you know, and they're watching your little 8-year-old walk. and you think they have her best intentions in mind. No, they don't. They don't. And when they're gone, you're wondering where they're at. Well, guess what? Look, we can't act like it doesn't happen. It's the Clintons are in on this. I mean, Epstein blew this thing wide open. Wide open. It's like it's not even it used to be like are those people doing it? It's like, no, these people at the top of our economic system, at the top of our social system, these people are guilty. They are doing this. There's just no doubt about it anymore. They're in it, hands and feet. They're doing this on a global scale. This is a global network that they have just to entice your child to whop all over the place. And to come on. No. They don't care. Oh, yeah. It just, no. So I can't get down with a lot of these, a lot of these men that are supposed to be standing up for our community. I can't get down with them. I can't look at them and not think of all the death that they caused and all the trash that they put into people's ears. I can't, Ice Cube. I never, ever, ever will. I listened to the whole album of Kill at Will, and this was when I was 27. This is a while ago. It hurt. I never listened to it again. And I bought that album. I never listened to it again. I couldn't. It hurt because I felt like I was dying. I really, 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 really. It just, I got rid of it. I couldn't. I ended up listening to Big. I was listening to B.I.G. And some of that was bothering me too. But B.I.G. to me was, for one, he was telling the truth about his neighborhood. And he was chasing the chicks. You know me. I was all about chasing the honeys, you know what I'm saying? So I was with Big, but, a lot of the gangster stuff he was talking about, a lot of it, look what happened to him. A lot of the stuff he was saying was very, very true. So I was listening to Big like, yo, I don't want to live the life that you live. You know what I'm saying? But I want to understand it, and the only way I'm going to do that is through listening to what you're doing. I'm a ladies' man. That's what I am. I'm not a gangster. I'm not a fighter, even though I can fight. But I likes the women. So if you was talking about females, I was down with you. You know what I'm saying? But when you talk about shooting somebody, all these violent talk, it never resonated with me. Because a life is a life. Now, if I got to beat the hell out of somebody, I'm with that 100%, if they deserve it. But just to go out here and just randomly start capping off on people, I'm going to just because they're black, I'm just going to randomly just get in the car and just start firing off on black people. That made absolutely no sense to me. And this is what a lot of these people promote. Like, why would I do that? Who's the dudes that made The Quiet Storm? P and them, yeah, P, R.I.P. To him. But they was talking about doing that too, and I'm just like, why? Why in the intro are you talking about there's a guy over there, we're going to go over there and get him? What did he do to you? So I didn't get a lot of the gangster mentality. Oh, praises, lady. Oh, let me read some of what y'all talking about. I have boys, and they never answer the door without a shirt on. All right. They were taught to respect themselves and others. No second pants. Yeah, cut that out. Much respect. Much respect. Yeah, because my mom ain't never taught us no nonsense. You know what I'm saying? She ain't never taught us no nonsense. None of that was happening. So I grew up just being a sap, for the loving. And although I'm single and I don't chase anymore, that was my life. Like I was choosing that over money. I was like, shoot, I'm gonna chase these women. I could, you know what I'm saying? I stayed working, but when that female came calling, boy, I was gone. I'm like, I gotta go, and I gotta go chase this chick. That's just the way it is. Now I'm more chasing the dollar. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm trying to actually build something before I leave this planet. Uh, but and the women are different now too. So I don't get the women. Like mentally, I'm so far removed from the way the women think. I just I got tired. I got tired of women calling me gay because I was nice. And I'm like, you slept with me. They're like, and one girl told me it don't matter. You can still be. How does that go? Exactly. I'm constantly jumping in your bed with you, but not. So you know what I realized? It wasn't about what my sexuality was. It was all about tearing me down because I wasn't a gangster. That's what it was. It was. I'm gonna tear you down because you're a nice person. Because I can. Because I'm angry on the inside. So I'm gonna come at you, and I'm just gonna. And finally, I just had enough of it. I knew this person for years. I just said, you know what? I'm done. I'm not coming over here anymore. I'm finished. You're not gonna keep tearing me down, and just because I'm good, because I'm a good guy, because I don't want to be a hood dude. Because I believe in catering to a good woman. You know what I'm saying? I believe in, singing songs and slow dancing and making love to my woman instead of just pounding her in the sheets. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to wake up angry. Like this chick would go, let's argue. I'm like, why? Why are we arguing? What do you want to argue about? I refuse to live with that toxic female. I refuse to live with any toxic. If you want to go look at other men, if you want to go be with other men, if you want to go sleep with other men and then try to come into my house, I'm not doing it. I'm going to grab you by your collar and kick you out of my house. I'm not. So I'm just done because I'm not a toxic person. I'm done. I can't. I just the destruction that has been embedded into our society by music is long lasting. It is not going anywhere, and it's just getting worse. Yeah, she would just wake up. Let's argue. Let's argue. And I just every now and then I come across one who was like me. Every now and then. And what happened, I'm gonna tell you what happened. I found out that I was tainted by the bad chicks. I expected the good chick to start acting bad. I did. The one chick has been after me for the longest time. And every time I see her, she's too pretty for one. And I'm not getting hooked and left again. And every time she sees me, she's just staring at me like, when are we gonna get together? And I'm just like, nope. I'd rather be by myself than live with more memories. I'm good. I'm good. And I know she's a good chick, but I'm all I'm shell shocked. I'm good. And they'll looking at me as being a goodie. Just because my mom and dad taught me how to respect myself. And hey, there it is. And I just I can't Ice Cube. I've seen what you've done. You made the good girl mad. I don't mind a little touch of edge in a chick, you know. But when you want to hit me, then I got to pick you up by your goddamn neck and throw you out the car or something. I mean, I have very low tolerance for anything like that. I just can't. I just can't. As far as Omar, calling, what he did was he called Roland Martin a house Negro. I don't think Roland Martin is a house Negro. I think Roland Martin is, and I don't think he attacked Ice Cube. I think he is very matter of fact. That's why I like him. Because you either have your act together. Yeah, let's argue. I'm not. You either have your act together when you talk to him or you don't. And the thing about it is, Roland Martin is one of those dudes who's not going to try to overshadow you with knowledge. If you don't have your act together, he's going to tell you something that's very factual. He's going to look up something that's on paper and go, this is actually what the bill is. And he'll look at it and read it to you and blah, 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 and then look for you to respond. So that's why I like him, because, you may say, something, and he'll go, no, this is actually what it is. And then all you can do is say, thank you for enlightening me. I couldn't have a political conversation with him and hold my own. I already know that. I couldn't, because he'll eat you up. But I can have an enlightening conversation with him and willingly admit that there is a lot about the political arena that I no longer follow, and I just don't know about. So that would automatically make him the king of the conversation, and he would have a lot of knowledge that I would go and have to look up and find for myself, and then come back to him with an opinion about what I've read. He would be giving me homework, he would be teacher, I would be student. And that's okay, because you just don't know everything. So when you come across somebody who does have a good foothold on what they're talking about, because that's their arena, well, you can't be mad, because the Ice Cube, that's not what you do. This is what happens when people step out of their lane and then step into another lane and are not prepared. You're just not prepared. And he was not prepared in the conversation. You're talking to Roland Martin. This is what he's been doing for how many years? You just started doing this. You know what I'm saying? You just jumped into this and was like, yeah, I'm going to go talk to the president. And you're going to face a lot of other people like Roland Martin, who, and the thing about it is, he's black. So wait until you start facing some of these, people who are not his color and are not going to take it easy on you. They're going to twist your words, because that's what politicians do. Everything you say, they're going to belittle you in a way that you're just not aware of, but it's like speaking another language. It is. It's like speaking a whole complete language that you're not aware of, and they're going to take everything you say, and if you say apples, they're going to say pancakes. You know what I'm saying? It's going to turn into something completely different, and you're going to come out of that conversation feeling very, very small and out of your league, until you learn how to talk like these people, and you can't do it overnight. You can't. You're going to have to do more listening than talking. And that's what I think Ice Cube, I just don't think he should have spoke to Roland Martin. I don't think he should have went into the conversation and let Roland Martin start asking questions. I think, if anything, he should have gave Roland Martin the platform and said, okay, this is what I want to do. Enlighten me about it. Roland Martin would have took the reins of the conversation and said, okay, well, if you want to allocate $500 million in the community, this is what the government already has set up. This is how much will actually go into the Black community. And this is how much will go into just any community. And then there's the whole trickle down theory, and he could have broke all that down to you, and Ice Cube could have been learning and not been criticized at all. There would have been no criticize. There's no criticism in sitting in there learning about an element that which you don't know about. And it's clear you can just say, "Look, I'm just now getting into this. This is what I want to present to the president. Help me out, brother. Let me know am I on the right track or not?" And he could have just been like, "Yes, no, yes, no, yes, no, yes, no," and could have mentored you towards that lane, or actually help you present your idea, because the idea is not bad. But the fact that you know absolutely nothing, and I'm going to tell you something, you're going to find a lot of people who are not in a political arena speaking up, like P. Diddy. P. Diddy talked about hold your vote, or he said, hold your vote hostage. I just heard this conversation with him and who was it? Charlamagne the God. P. Diddy once again, somebody who put poison out on the street, bragged about it, has never, but he isn't as bad as Ice Cube, but has never been, in my eyes, I don't live in New York though, but has never been, in my eyes, somebody who lifts up the community. He's always been, to me, selfish. Always been about him, his millions. I mean, he takes after his father. We all know who his father is and what his father did. But now you want to jump into the political arena, and a lot of people are getting this from Cardi B. But the thing about Cardi B is Cardi B was in the politics before anybody even knew who she was. She just doesn't have a degree in it. But when Cardi B first started coming out, when she had her, social media, and she started coming out, she was doing the whole walk on the beach and walk up to people and start asking questions. She would ask them, you would think it'd be, what's your favorite, position or something like that, because it's Cardi B. No, she was asking them, she was like, do you know who the, fourth president was? People were like, I have no idea who the fourth president was. Do you know who the 27th president was? Cardi B was asking people questions about the presidents that was walking on the beach, just having a good day. Nobody is thinking about the presidents. But these are the questions she was asking people. She's been into politics, and she says she loves it. So when she finally got big and Bodak Yellow and all that other stuff, and now she's talking to, Bernie Madoff and, not Bernie Madoff, Bernie Sanders, Bernie Madoff, my brain. Bernie Madoff's in jail. Bernie Sanders, it's not a huge transition, even though, yeah, she was a stripper and all that. To me, because I've already saw what Cardi B was doing years ago. So she's getting into her element now. She isn't as eloquent as Candace Owens. Cardi B is still a hood chick, 100%. Let's not get that twisted. But it's not like she came out of nowhere, like, to me, Ice Cube has done. Now, Ice Cube may have some type of political background, but I don't know about it. He might have talked to some mayor or House representatives, so on and so forth. But like I said, Cardi B has been studying this stuff for years. So she's getting into her element. And you can see how productive she is. She'll go online and there'll be like 60,000 people talking to her, and she won't be talking about anything. Because Cardi B has great social power. Well, all of P. Diddy's artists succumb to publishing. So we know of several of them that went to jail. We know Shine went to jail. We know G. Dep is in jail right now. G. Dep murdered a man, and like years ago, 20-some years ago, and then went and turned himself in just recently. Mr. Let's Get It, yeah, he turned himself in. So he's in jail for a long time. So Shine went to jail for P. Diddy. G. Dep went to jail. Big is 6 feet under. Total, we don't know what happened to them, but we know they used to chase P. Diddy around the office. They was pissed at him. Shoot, who else did he have? Black Rob. Black Rob is, I mean, he's still out. You know, he's doing his thing, but Black Rob is suffering from child support. He's like, I'm supposed to be shining, but he's like, child support is killing me. C. Murder's in jail. Nah, I didn't say C. Murder. He's in jail. Shine. Yeah, Shine's out of jail now. Yeah, Shine's out of jail. He talks about the whole thing. Told on everybody else. But you see how people are coming out and talking about Diddy now. Who's out the Jaguar Wright? I saw her in concert years ago. Jaguar Wright came out and talked about Diddy. Diddy was, that dude is something else, man. He's something else. You know, the stuff he does is like, woo! That dude is something else, man. Diddy had a bad name when he came out. He started promoting. When he first came out, Diddy was a promoter. What happened is he oversold a venue, and there were too many people inside of the place. But he was like, "No, I'm gonna get this money." So he kept selling tickets, even though it was packed inside. Well, the reason why they tell you that there's only so many people allowed in a place is because if there's a fire or anything, you're going to have a large loss of life if the place is overpacked because they can't get out fast enough. Well, guess what happened? There was no fire, but there was a fight that broke out. And people got crushed and stampeded and killed because what? It was overpacked. They blamed that on Diddy, and it was his fault. You know, you kept selling tickets and getting money, but the place was clearly overpacked, but you were like, no, to get this money. So people lost their lives. But he's trying to enter the political arena, and no. Diddy, you've never been for the people, as far as I'm concerned. Never, not once. I've never heard him say anything for the people. I've always heard him talk about himself and money. And one of his baby's mothers just got, killed. And people are trying to figure out what happened there. That was this year, wasn't it? Trying to figure out what happened to her. No, Diddy. Diddy got blood on his hands a mile long. Nah, Diddy. Ain't gonna happen. You can't speak for me, bro. You are too criminal. Way too criminal. Even the Locks was talking about Diddy when they was on Hot 97. And Diddy had to call Hot 97 because they was talking about him on Hot 97. And the Locks was like, yo, we made one album with him, All About the Benjamins, 10 years ago. And he won't release us from our deal. Like, we, try to go down there, but he won't talk to us. Like, we can't go out. They were like, we can't go out and do other things with other people. We have to do those under different monikers and all that because he has our publishing. So a lot of Diddy's artists, that's what happened to them. They're public, and Diddy even said it. He said, "Don't come to me, check your publishing." So that's what the locks were talking about. Diddy called up the Hut 97. It was like, why y'all talking about me like that? It was like, because you won't release us from our deal that we had years ago. And he was like, why don't y'all just come down and talk to me instead? He's like, we've been trying to come down and talk to you, but every time we come down there, you got the National Guard waiting on us. And finally they got out of the deal because they made it public. So a lot of stuff Diddy has done, he's, sexually and all that other stuff, a lot of the way he is coming to the forefront now. And I think Diddy is going to be, I think he's going to be in trouble. I think he's living in a glass house. And, look, they even start talking about Jay-Z and some of the stuff he was doing. Hold on, my nose. Jay-Z was messing around with Foxy Brown when Foxy Brown was, 14, 15? Foxy Brown came out and said he was messing with her. All right? Let's look at Foxy Brown. Good grief. Woo. That was one beautiful chocolate girl. But he was in a house of vultures. They wasn't playing. The game is wicked. The music game is wicked. I had a friend, she's a singer. And we're not friends no more, but she wanted to get a record deal. And some record company came up to her, some black guy. She went to visit. He's like, come to the office. She went to visit. And then, they were having to sit down. And he was like, yeah, so take your clothes off. She was like, wait, what? He was like, yeah, take your clothes off. And so she politely got up and left and never returned. And I was it for her in the music business. She just does her little singing thing on the side, but she's like, I'm out. I can't. So the music business is very, very wicked, and Diddy is at the forefront of that wickedness. Yeah. Told her to take her clothes off, interrupted her conversation like, take her clothes off. She's like, nope, she just got up and left. That was it. So now Diddy, yeah, casting couch on some. What you know about casting couch, Lady G? You've been watching pornography. Everybody knows about casting couch. Except casting couch, those were actors. No, this chick was not an actor. You know about pornography, Lady G? Casting couch. Now this chick, she wasn't an actress. She's for real. She left, which is the normal reaction of any sane person. You read a lot, okay? Yeah, I read a lot too. I read about it somewhere along around one of these books. Pornography, but yeah, she bought it, and she couldn't believe it because it was a brother's, So she thought she was going to have an intelligible conversation with this brother, like, and talk about like getting a whole career going on. But he stopped her cold, like, no. Like, nah. If this is where you want to be, then you're going to have to You know, you have to show some leg. It's going down right now. He wasn't even nice about it. He wasn't even nice. He wasn't even understanding. She's like, no, I'm leaving. He's like, deuces. Next. Next lady out there. Yeah, come on in. Yeah. Sure. You're from whatever. Take your clothes off. And the thing about it is, it works. For every one girl that won't do it, there's probably 300 that will. And it's right. You watch a lot of documentaries about many things and talk to people. Okay, you know what? There are a lot of documentaries about the things that people do to get their bread. Not everyone is an actor, actress. Found out that a lot of these females who are doing it are just regular, everyday females who were curious one way or another. Some of them have bad stories, but a lot of them, not so much. A lot of them, they're just like, hey, I was doing it for free. Why not make money? Like the one chick with the soldier recently. She was about to be married to a boy, but he went and deployed. And so she went online and met one of these guys who actually, does that. And he offered her a good amount of money because he's seen her, he's seen a picture of her and old dude, her man seen online. And he was like, yo, how old are you? She contacted him. He's like, how old are you? She was like, I'm legal. It's like, I'm 18. He was like, well, come on over here. And when they got there, she was like, yeah, let's do this. I need the money. And of course, this guy's going to post what you're doing because that's how he makes his money back. And he posted it, and now dude overseas sees it, and, the whole thing just blew up. And you would think that it would, tear her up because he was like, I don't want to be with you. The soldier was like, I don't want to be with you. No, guess what she did the next week? She went right back to the guy who paid her to, get busy. And there's two guys in the room, and she was like, let's go. She's like, what are we doing? All right. Boom, boom. Let's go. Hey, Kevin Hart. Bam. Boom, bam. She's like, let's go. This is what I'm doing now. Like, what? Music industry is filthy one. Not surprised. Yeah, it's terrible. The things people do with underage children is really well. But these are all 18 and up. But I also did a lot of research when I was going to college. Yeah, but these girls are all 18 and up. They're all legal. It's just their mindset is what I'm talking about. It's just I'm just going to go ahead and do this. Yeah, I'm going to just go ahead and let these people defile me. And they do it, and it's just like, well, you do know that this is the worst industry, but they don't care. They're like, do whatever you want. They asked one chick that was like, does your dad know what you do? No. But he will. Wait, what? Sure enough. Think she cared? Nope. Now she's older and out of the business and has a daughter. So it's a good chance your daughter's going to see what you used to do. And she might head down that same road. And you might not want her to do that because you know how the industry is. But once she becomes of age, it's going to be like Lawrence Fishburne's daughter. His daughter's into pornography. Well, she was. Lawrence Fishburne, like, how could you defile that man's name like that? But she's like, I do what I want to do, and sure enough, she went, found an agent, jumped right into the business. I felt bad for Fish. Felt bad for him. But yeah, that's what she decided to do. So, yeah, good old casting couch. Pornography. People watch it. You know why people watch it? You know why people watch Casting Couch? Because they want to believe that the girls there are innocent. They want to believe that this is an everyday chick, that this is a regular, right down the street chick, but she's an actress. You know, because right down the street chicks aren't going to sign a contract and then go in there and then let some guy just do whatever. No, they're gonna be like, "Nah, I'm good. I'm rolling out. I'm out of here." Yeah, I'm rolling out. I don't think this is what I want to do. But you know, you got innocent Annie Januaries walking into those places too, not knowing what to expect. Next thing you know, they're in a theater full of men, and it's going down bad for them. And, you know, they're crying, but they signed a contract. You actually see some of them crying. Like, why are you still letting them do whatever they're doing and you're crying? And, you know, I saw a video, the girl was crying. And another video, the chick lost her mind. She literally lost it so bad that they had to stop doing what they were doing because this chick lost her damn mind and was crying and was talking about, "You think this is what I really want to do in my life?" While they're doing this to her. "I don't really want to be like this." And they thought she was just acting until she really started like, "Oh. And the one guy, you know, who's doing his thing was like, "Wait, well, I didn't sign up for this." And they had to stop because she literally lost it. Like this, that's no place for it. It's just, your body was not made for that. It's just not good. But you young people who think, "Oh, well, I'm the me who I am, and it's going to be okay because I'm me." It turns out you have a very high suicide rate. A lot of them lose their damn minds because they're not supposed to be doing that, and then boom, dead. No, not good. What up, Nas? We're just covering a whole bunch of different stuff, but yeah, just chatting it up with my peeps. I ain't talked to y'all in a minute. Oh, God. I talked to the guys. One of my friends has traveled all over and has many stories about those things. Yeah, dude, I was looking like, you know, because I watched it before. But when that girl fell apart, I watched that scene just to watch her fall apart. Because because it's highlighted. Like it's like this girl loses her mind during the scene. Like you're just like, "Oh, I want to see this." And you can just, her everything just, she came apart so bad that all the producers, the actors, everyone had to stop and just look at her. Because they didn't know whether they just caught a case. They didn't know. I mean, they were like, are you all right?" Like they did not expect this. You can tell it. They probably never seen any of this happen before. And they were out of sorts. We don't know what to do. You know, the one guy was like, "Hey, you know, this is a woman, so we know how this is going to go in court, even though you're on camera and sign the contract." Nah, I'm done. All the excitement in it, he was done. He was like, "I'm finished. I'm good. I don't want no part of this." It bounced, you know. So you get a lot of those it just, I was watching a show where they had two of these porn stars, and one of them was Sasha Grey. Sasha Grey is crazy, and there was another porn star who was out of the business, and she told the one who was out of business was telling Sasha Grey because she just got in the business. She said, "You're going to end up wearing a diaper for the rest of your life." She just told her that. She's just like, "You're going to end up wearing a diaper." It was like one of these Donahue type shows or something, but it wasn't Donahue. But she's like, "You're going to end up wearing a diaper for the like your body is not made for all that craziness that you're doing. You're not. Even the Bible tells you your body's not made for that. Your body is not made to be doing all that kind of stuff. You need to quit." But you can't tell young people that. The one girl was talking about she needed money. Now, when I was younger and I needed money, many of the porn stars have the, oh yeah, 100%. Now, when I was younger and I needed money, I wasn't thinking about slanging, but I was thinking about getting into stuff I wasn't supposed to. And I told the Lord, I said, "Listen, like I'm about to turn into something else. Like I'm not the goofy. I'm not gonna be running around here goofy and dancing and singing and whatnot. And I'm hungry. Like I'm waking up and there's nothing. I got nothing. Like I need help." I was telling them I need help, and I knew some boys who were into some, they was getting out money. I was just like, "Yo, what's up with you?" You know what I'm saying? And dude was like, "Well, what you mean?" I was like, "Yeah, I know what you do, bro." I was like, "Tell me about it." And he started breaking it down to me on how it works. He's like, "What, you trying to get on?" I was like, "Yeah." Like, I need money. I'm in a bad way. I need it. He's like, "All right, we'll meet up tomorrow." I never saw that guy again in my life. Never. And we worked together. He never came back to work. Nothing. Never called me. Nothing. You want to talk about an act of God? That was an act of God. And I knew it. No phone call. Didn't show back up to work. Nothing. I never saw the guy again. Never. And I saw him every day before that conversation. But I was very serious. I needed money. I got tired of working for the people I was working for because they were just treating us bad. We had to call the NAACP on them. I just got tired of getting beat down every day. Even my family members, I was just catching it bad all over. And I was like, I need to get out here and do something on my own. And, I was about to make a bad decision. But the Lord was like, "Nah, you're not doing that." And I was like, "All right, but I'm broke. My car caught on fire on the freeway. But it wasn't the life I was supposed to live. So that's not what happened. Homeless. Yeah. Twice I was about to get into the game. Each time the Lord was like, "Nope." So I never even entertained that thought again. Now, if I go broke, shoot, I'll tell you what happened. Uh, I was broke about a year or two ago. About a year or two ago, I was broke, right? Nah, it was longer than that. It's about 4 years ago. Anyway, so I was flat broke, right? I needed money. And I was dating this white chick at the time. She was cool, though. I had to stop dating her, though. But she was cool. But I never asked her for any money. She knew I was broke. She knew it. That's because of my accident. I couldn't work because of the car accident I was in. So I couldn't go to work. I wasn't on disability. I was just in the middle of about to get money, but it was a year and a half of just being broke. You know what I'm saying? Because I couldn't work anymore. I couldn't go to Honda and work. I'd go there, my back would just be lit up. I would just, I was just in a bad way. I really got hurt. But I needed money. So I was like, I don't know what to do. So I started pawning the stuff in my house. And I started flipping and selling the stuff in my house. All my little electronics, I just found anything that I could just to sell, or I would go down and pawn it. So I got familiar with all the pawn stores, and they'd see me coming, and I would, boom, how much can I get for this? Boom, how much can I get for that? Boom. Also, I had my YouTube channel, but my YouTube channel wasn't making that much money, but I was doing about $100 a year on YouTube. So whenever that money came around, I'd use that to help pay the rent. I would talk to the landlord. I was living here. I talked to the landlord. She'd be like, "How much do you got?" I'd be like, I'm short, like, so and so dollars." She'd be like, "Okay, well, make sure you make it up next month." Boom. Like I had to work my hand. I had to pawn. You know what I'm saying? Like I was hustling. I was hustling, and what that did was, yeah, they got a lot of demons with the porn star people. But what that did was it laid the groundwork for me to be where I am today. Like I am not broke at all. My back is killing me. But eventually all that hustling got me to where I could look at an item and I could vet that item just by looking at it and go, I bet I could make so and so much money off of this item. That's what it was schooling me, is what it was. In an economic and a hard economic way, but to know where I could make money from an item quickly. So if I need money quick, I can look at something and go, I can get so and so many dollars off of this. I hope I don't have to go back to that, but anything can happen. But especially now that I'm, all hurt up, I can't. You know what I'm saying? You can only hustle as much as your body allows you to, as far as physically. Then you got to turn it into something else. But that's what I did. I just hustled, and look at stuff that people throw out, and I'd be like, I bet I can make money off of that. And I just started looking at stuff that people was throwing out because they was moving. I go along, look at it, and I look at it, I go, boom. Take it, throw it in a truck, post it online, boom, put it in the shed, somebody would come and buy it. I still do that today. Not as much, but I still do it. So just hustling. You developed insight. Yeah, I was even telling the guys, like a guy came and bought one of my stoves yesterday. I had that stove for the longest time. But what I did was, okay, so I had this stove for the longest time, and I was trying to sell it for $250, right? You can't, not really. So I had this stove for $250, right? Nobody wanted to buy it. People would ping on it, but they didn't want to. That's why when you hear this go bing, that's somebody asking me about one of my items. So I was like, okay, I've had this stove for the longest time. I keep it in my shed, tucked away, not paying any mind. Well, a guy had bought one of my refrigerators, came down, looked at the fridge, was just like, yeah, this is okay, but there's another fridge I'm looking at, blah, blah, blah. So I had to drop the price of the fridge that I had just to get it to this guy, and I delivered it to him that day. Well, he's a landlord. So he was like, yeah, I'm looking for a stove too. I was like, what kind? He's like, electric stove. I was like, well, I got one. Well, he's like, sent me a picture. I sent him a picture, told him the price. He's like, go ahead and deliver it. I went and delivered it to him, but he looked at it and he's like, I don't want this stove. Because he looked at the top of it, and if you know about electric stoves, the glass tops, if they got that little, whatever on it in a circle, if you don't get that off there, people are like, nah, I don't want that. So I wasn't even upset. I said, it's cool, man. He's like, no, thank you. Here's $10 for coming out. He's like, but I just don't want it. It's got to look better than that. So I had to go to Lowe's, get some of that stuff you clean it with, look on YouTube and find out how to do it. Took it, cleaned it up, showed him pictures of it. He was like, I still don't want it. It didn't even make me upset. I cleaned that thing up the best that I could, put it in my shed, posted the clean pictures of it. Boom, sold that thing 2 days ago. Just like that. But I sold it for a lot less because I just wanted to move it. But nonetheless, I sold it to a guy, and the guy I sold it to, he's into the business just like me, except he's deeper, but he's in Marion, so he's in a smaller town, smaller market. And I was trying to school him on how to do what I do. You know what I'm saying? And, how sales and everything, because he just takes stuff and just post it, and just to see if anybody will buy it at a certain price. I was like, you can't do that. It's a numbers game. It's math. It's science. There's a science to the psyche of a buyer. You can't just willy-nilly a buyer. He said, yeah, I got this, 63 Barracuda or whatever it was. He was like, I'm going to fix it. He's like, I bought it for $4,000. I'm going to fix it, sell it to, online. And I was like, well, how much you going to sell it for? He was like, I was thinking about selling it for $8,000. He's like, a Mopar guy came in and looked at it and was, it was asking about it. He's like, how much you selling it for? He's like, I'm sorry. He was like 85. And I said, and he said, well, I don't know anything about, these cars, and I'm going to go ahead and put something. He's like, but I'm thinking about fixing it. And I said, well, why are you going to fix it? I was like, the guy came in, you gave him a price of 85. I said, what was his reaction? He said he didn't even blink an eye. I said, well, that guy is the market. You entered into a market that you're not aware of. The Mopar market. You have a car here. There's a Mopar car. You have to fix it up. I'm sorry, guys. My nose. I said, you have to fix this car up. This guy said that he's going to be back, meaning he's interested in the car, even though he knows the car is not running. I said, why put all this money into it? Don't do that. I said, if that guy comes back, sell it to him for with the price that you gave him, which was 85. But I said, if he doesn't come back, raise it to 10,000. And I said, don't put any work into it. Just let everybody know exactly what's wrong with it. I sold a fridge the other day. I told people exactly what's wrong with it. Guy came along and bought it. And bought a stove from me. He's going to fix the fridge. So, I learned so much by just that hustle years ago where I had to get out and do it. I had no choice but to get out and hustle. And all that is matriculating into, what I am today. I can just look at something and tell you what the market is. I can tell you how to vet the market. I can pretty much, within my realm. Like I can't look at clothing and tell you how much it is right offhand, but I can tell you how to vet, whatever it is. You know what I'm saying? You just look at what people are selling it at new. You look at what people are selling it at new but scarred up, dented up, or scratched up, or whatever. And then there's you. You fall into the used department. So, yeah. Very true. I love your refrigerator stove stories. You make it interesting. And the thing about it is, refrigerators and stoves, it's not really sexy. You know what I'm saying? But when you're fixing on them and you're trying to make a profit, it becomes a part of you. You don't just when I get a refrigerator and I'm out there cleaning out refrigerator, it's not a job to me. Because the more time that I put into that refrigerator, the more I'm going to learn about it. Even if the refrigerator I sold that was broken, it was an LG Elite, very very nice, stainless steel, 2-door, very very nice. One side's a freezer, the other side's a refrigerator. These things are $1,700. This one was a 2018. I could have probably got 900 plus for it. I was only selling it for 600. Nonetheless, sold it to a guy. He was like, "It's not working." Gave the guy his money back, took the fridge, and started investigating. So I started buying sensors for it. Never done that before. You learn that refrigerators are different for each company. You know what I'm saying? The Mopar or the refrigerator? Yeah, we all do. But I don't know what the car he had was a V8 something. I don't know what it was. But I think he took my advice. You know. But oh, you messing with me? Was the refrigerator was a V6? No. But you just learn from it. You just and I'm so deep in the fridges now. I'm messing with the electronics. I changed out the motherboard. I've never done that before. You know what I'm saying? The only thing I really haven't done to fridge, well, there's a lot I haven't done, but as far as major overhauls to them, is take off the compressor and put one in. And the only reason why I haven't done it is because there's gas that's involved in it. And there's just a way you do that whole thing. And I'm not sure if I want to do that. But as far as taking them apart, fixing them, yeah, So I have a respect for a refrigerator. Now I can look. And what it also did was it allowed me to dip into something else instead of just selling them. People are asking me, "Do you fix them?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I can fix minor problems on them." So when I sell you a refrigerator, you know, if even after the warranty is over, if something goes wrong with it, I charge you $40 for me to come out and diagnose it. And then I charge you another $40 just for me to fix it. So that's cheap because Sears is going to charge you $100 just to come out and look at it. And they're going to charge you $400 to fix it. That's not including the part. I'm just not going to do that for somebody who bought a fridge from me. You know what I mean? It's just unnecessary. But, my trucks take gas, so it costs me to come to your house. So basically, you're just paying, for gas and lunch. You know what I'm saying? You pay for the part, and I fix it. So I learned a lot, off of them. The bugs that get into them, because bugs do get in. You leave them outside, or you leave them like I have mine in a storage unit. You think bugs don't get into your storage unit? Yeah, these little gnats. These little gnats get into for the fridges that have filters in them. The big 2-door and the 3 doors and the 4 doors, they have filters on the refrigerator side. Well, that filter has water in it. So what they do is they get up in there and they're, drinking the water and then laying eggs. And one time I sold a lady a refrigerator, beautiful stainless steel, had no idea that it was infested because I cleaned it out myself. No idea the fridge was infested. She sends me a picture the next day and said, "What are these bugs?" And I was like, "I have no idea." She's like, "What are these eggs?" I'm like, I don't know. I was like, "They're not roaches, They look like gnats." And then she took the whole back panel off in the freezer, and the whole thing was lit up with these bugs. They were all dead, but nonetheless, they were all in there. And she showed me a picture of it. So I was like, "I'm so sorry. I'll come and get the fridge, give you your money back." She's like, "No, I'll go ahead and clean it and keep the fridge." I sent that lady $50 back. She didn't even ask for it. I just sent it back. I'm having to purchase a new fridge now. I just moved into my grandmother's home. Okay. She passed. Sorry to hear that. This was another situation I remember with an infested fridge. You almost you almost fought it. What? Almost fought. That's crazy. Yeah, it is crazy. Because after that story, now when I see these little gnats, I already know what the deal is. So when I clean the fridge, I use Clorox. You know what I'm saying? First, I use Dawn. So I take the fridge apart, right? Take all the shelves out, take it apart, wash it, boom, all the shelves, put them all back in. Click, 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 click. But if the fridge has to sit in the storage unit, I keep a bottle of Clorox because bugs don't like Clorox. And whenever I go down there, I open up all my fridges, look at all the filters, and I spray them. I just randomly spray them. Now, if I do see any eggs, which I haven't, but if I do see any eggs, what I would do is I would immediately take the filter out and look and see if there's a cluster of eggs in there. But I haven't because I'm always spraying. Also, take Raid. I have Raid down in my storage unit too. So I see them flying around, but there's no clusters of them. So I'll grab my Raid and just and we'll spray on the inside and then close it, because I might not be back there for a couple of days. Raid just kills them all off. But it was just interesting that the lady kept the fridge. And the thing about it is, that same refrigerator I had sold her, somebody hit me up the next day and was like, "Do you still have this fridge? I'll pay you this much for it." So I was going to make money off of it. Like I was going to make more money off of it because I was eager to get it back. I was like, "Hey, I'll come get that from you." She was like, "Nah, I'm good." I was like, I was going to make more money. She's like, "Nah, I'll keep it." And kept it. And I was like, okay. So I won either way around. You know what I mean? And I gave her the $50 just to be nice, you know what I'm saying? Because, word of mouth is how you really make money in this business. It's word of mouth. People call you and be like, "Hey, I heard you do this. I need this." Landlords talk to landlords. You know what I'm saying? People, I had one lady, I sold her a fridge. She loved it so much. Her mother was like, "Hey, I need a fridge." Okay. So that's just how it goes. But yeah, those stories, you should wrap your fridge's tone. Why not? Well, the problem is the bugs can get into a fridge by simply climbing under it. And if you're going to wrap a fridge, you're going to have to wrap it and keep it stationary. They can climb right into where the wheels are and then just climb right up into it. Yeah. The bugs don't play because they're looking for a home, especially when it gets cold out. But when they're at my warehouse and somebody comes to see a fridge, they might be coming to see the fridge that's way in the back. So I got to take 2 fridges out just to show them one fridge, and then they might not even want it. That just happened to me last week. I'm messing with these big 3-doors, yanking them out, having to get the whole thing out. Then I got to pull out another 3-door just so they can look behind and see the 2-door. And, that's why my back is killing me now. And then, they're like, "Nah, I don't want it." The wife, "Nah, I don't want it." So then I have to put all of these, back by myself. You know what I'm saying? And it's pretty heavy. But, yeah, wrapping it up wouldn't help me because I would always be breaking the wrap because I have to move them all the time. I have to move them in and out, all the time. And one of them I actually just sold to a I don't know what they were, but I actually just sold to this family, and I haven't heard from them, so that's good. And a lady asked me for an extended warranty. I was like, "Yeah, 7 days." She was like, "Nah, that's not long enough." I was like, "How long do you want?" I was like, "We want 15 days." She was like, "Yeah, that's fine." So I gave her a 15-day warranty. So I haven't heard from her since, but I'm hoping I don't get a dolly. Oh, I have 2 of them. I have 2 of them, but that doesn't matter. Now, the storage is only a 5x10. You know what I'm saying? That doesn't matter. You can have a dolly, but you still, even if you have a tilt trailer, you still have to pull that big old fridge up on that trailer. You got to do it. You know what I'm saying? So they're pretty heavy. That's what's wearing me out now. The hustle's good, but your body, fridges aren't made for one person to be tossing around. They're just not. Because they're heavy, they're competitive. And they're a lot heavier than you are. I mean, a big old French door bottom freezer, I don't know how much it weighs, but I know it's competitive. But sometimes you gotta sling that joker around and find ways to, do it without hurting yourself. You gotta take your time. But when somebody is, trying to pay you your rent off of one fridge, you're gonna move that fridge. I bet you'll move it, Lady G. I'll bet you. I bet you move a big old French door. If somebody's like, "Hey, how much is your rent? If you sell me that fridge, I'll pay you your rent right now." You'd be like, "Oh, you call your sons, it'd be over." You'd be like, Michael and James. Get on over here. They move that fridge. I mean, shoot, need it done. So it's just me. So, hey, when these people get the pinging on I'm like, all right, let's rock. And get a hold of that thing with my old behind, and I'll move it. But I can't get them up those stairs. A big old French door, I tell people right now, I said, I'm not, this is not going, and I tell people when they're asking me about it, I'm like, I'm not taking this up any stairs. One time, this guy, he bought a fridge, but it wasn't from me. I don't even know if they still have it. What he did was, his house is a newer house, right? The wife bought a 3-door, which opens like this and has a freezer on the bottom. And that fridge was not made for that house. And this is how I know. You open the garage. The fridge is a 35.7 wide. It's about 35 deep too. So this is a big, big refrigerator. Even if you took the doors off, you couldn't get it through the garage door. So you can't get it through it. It's just not going to happen. Garage door is too narrow. So you have to take it through what? The front door. Most fridges you have to take through the front door. So you take the doors off. And you take the doors off. The one on the right side is easy to take off. It just bolts up here. It's a screw, 2 bolts, boom, comes right off. Bam. The one on this side has the ice maker. The ice maker door is always the hardest to get off. Why? Because there are wires running through it and a tube. So you have to open the door, disconnect the wires, and then disconnect the tube that has the ice in it, and disconnect the top of it, and then take the door off. You got to be careful about that too. So once you get those off, now you have to take the freezer door off, because you just can't take the handles off. Because if you could, you could just take an Allen wrench and just do the handles, pop all the handles off. No, you have to take the whole freezer door, and there's 4 screws on each side on each level. So there's 4 screws here, drop down 4 screws, 4 screws, come up 4 screws. You have to take all of those off, the door comes right off. Boom. Then you got to still lug that big joker into the house. So we get it into the house just to find out that they have an arch into their kitchen. That arch was a 1/2 inch too small, even for that fridge to get in. So we had to sit there and ponder, how do we get this fridge into the kitchen? Well, the fridge had a counter, an open counter that you could look right into the living room. So we had to take the fridge into the living room, bend it over the counter, and then go around and lower the whole fridge down to the kitchen floor. That's how we had to get in there. And then the fridge conked out on me. Came out there a couple days later. They like my fridge went out on me. I said, I don't know what to tell you. But I looked at it. I said, you just might need to reset the computer. So you can unplug a fridge, wait for a few minutes, and plug it back in. Sometimes it'll reset. But then they paid me to also clean it. So I had to sit there and clean the whole fridge, and then put it all back together. But the thing about it was the guy he was an African dude, and he's cheap. So, I also installed his washer and dryer, but he didn't want to help me carry the washer in. He was like, "Oh, I got something to do," and disappeared. I was like, "You should have done it." And he lives with his wife and child and the wife's mother. And her mother was like, "Where is he?" I was like, "I don't know," because she saw me struggling trying to get the washer and dryer in. But I got them both in, and she even helped me a little bit, old lady. And she knew that was a bad deal. She's like, "Oh, he should be here to help you." I was like, "This okay. I'm gonna go ahead and take care of it." So I got all set up, and then he came back and seeing that it was all set up, and I was like, "You shouldn't have done that." I was like, "You're lazy." I was like, "I get it, but you shouldn't have done it like that." You know what I mean? What happened? He came back out here about 2 weeks ago and asked me to fix his sink, and I won't go do it. I won't. He's mad as fire because he wants me. Oh, and he called me, and I hung his TVs. I put his TVs up, and he would only pay me like $40 to do all this work. And I'm just like, I'm not coming back out there. I'm not. It's not even, and Andy lives 20 miles from here. I'm like, it's not worth me getting in my car. It's not worth it. I'll spend more in gas than I'll make coming out there. He's like, "No, I got you." No, you're cheap and you're lazy. You shouldn't have done that. So I had pretty much helped set up his whole house. But I won't go out there. Now stuff is breaking down on him, and he needs somebody to come out who knows what you're doing, but I won't help him because he left me hanging. But you just learn a lot. A lot of these modern houses that want these big refrigerators, they don't belong in those houses. They don't. These three-door fridges that are, the cubic feet is just way too big for these modern made houses. They need an 18 cubic foot or 24 and under cubic feet. And if you try to get something else in there that doesn't belong, you're gonna fool around and deliver it the wrong way, and your $600-700 that you paid for it is gonna go right out the window. Especially if you bought it on Craigslist. Yeah, if you bought it on Craigslist or if you bought it on Facebook, a lot of people don't give you a warranty. So you'll you'll spend $600 on a fridge, and they're gone. I don't do that. I give people a 7-day warranty. Plus they know where I live. You know what I'm saying? They have my phone number. But yeah, I don't play with that because I know that they're going to tell somebody else their experience, and boom, I'm going to make money off of that. So. But yeah, I'm finding out a lot in the business. You know what I'm saying? Finding out a lot how to I didn't even realize that all refrigerators, you can reprogram the computer by, the new LGs. What you have to do is you have to take. Well, you guys don't care about all this, but I'm finding out that you can, reprogram these computers and just make them do certain things. I'm like, wow, I didn't even know you could do that. I thought you just plug it in and boom. No, you can make them do certain things just to run diagnostics on them to actually pinpoint what's wrong with it. I'm like, no, that's pretty cool. It saves you money if you can actually do it right. But a lot of people will get rid of their fridge, and this is what if you go on Facebook right now, marketing. Sorry. You go on Facebook marketing. Anywhere you live, guarantee you look up refrigerators, You're gonna look up. You're gonna see a beautiful stainless steel 3-door. Guarantee you. I guarantee you. Go on, look up Facebook Marketing right now in your area. You're gonna see a beautiful stainless steel 3-door, or 2-door, or 4-door, which is 2 freezers at the bottom. And what's gonna happen is you're gonna see that it's being sold for $150. It looks brand new. You'll be like, why are they selling for $150? If you go down and look at the description, they're gonna say it's not cooling. Doesn't freeze. It worked a year ago or yesterday, and it's not cooling anymore. Now that problem could be a $300 fix. It could be a $600 fix, or it could be a $35 fix. Just that. Just that. If you have a newer fridge, like you guys talking about, you needed a newer, you're getting a fridge for your grandma. If you get a newer fridge, your refrigerator, if you get one that's like 2015 and up, that refrigerator is not going to have a thermostat in it. The older refrigerators will have a thermostat in it. Your new refrigerator is not going to have one. It's going to have what's called a thermistor in it. I know. You think it's the same. Nope. Roll the dice. If you run the diagnostics, you can start figuring out what's wrong with it. But even this last one, I couldn't figure out what was wrong with it. I just wanted to get rid of it. You know what I'm saying? But it cost me, let's see, I bought 2 control boards for it. One was $235, the other one was $135. I bought 2 thermistors for it. One was for the refrigerator, and the other one was for the freezer. So you're looking at like $60 there. So I'm $400 into it, plus what I paid to get it. So I'm $600 into it. Easy. I had to count it all up as a loss. I sold it for $175. But he bought my stove too. So I'm okay. I'm not crying about it. You know, sometimes you take a loss. But I learned a lot, you know, because I was experimenting. Like, let me find out what's wrong with it. So I learned that, you know, if it's an LG, if it's a Kenmore Elite, those are made by LG. Whirlpool, excuse me. So you get yourself a Kenmore Elite or an LG. Well, no, I'm sorry. If it's an LG Elite, it's made by Whirlpool. So they don't come with thermostats. They come with sensors in them. Now, a sensor there's going to be 2 sensors. There's going to be one on the freezer side and one on the refrigerator side. The one on the freezer side is going to be right. The one on the freezer side, because you get. Oh, okay, so I'll tell you the story. What happened to this lady? Lady bought a fridge from me, right? I gave her a warranty and everything. Fridge was $4 something, plus I delivered it $500, right? Boom. Gave her a warranty. Told her how to treat the fridge. I tell everybody, go on YouTube, look up your model number. It'll tell you how to treat the fridge, right? So she's, before we know it, you're gonna be a pro. I'm getting there. Because I enjoy I enjoy the hustle. You know what I mean? So this lady gets a fridge, warranty goes by, month and a half later, she hits me up like, hey, I bought this fridge from you, but it's not working. I'm like trying to figure out who she was. I'm like, okay, yeah, I know who you are. She's like, I know it's past the warranty, but can you help me out? So I was like, I'll come on out there and look at it. Cost you $40. She's like, fine, come out and look at it. Fridge is in her house. She tells me what's wrong with it. She's like, fridge is freezing. The coils are freezing, but it's not freezing at the top. So we take it apart, and I go, what's happening is you have a defrost coil. And what happens with a refrigerator is when you take the shelves, this is a side by side. There's a freezer on this side and there's a fridge on this side. When you take out all the shelves and then unplug it first, you take out all the shelves and you take the screws out where the fan is, you take that whole panel out. When you take that panel out, you're going to see the fan and you're going to see the coils. And then when you look down below, you're going to see this tin, like this tin thing is about, it's like that in diameter. It spans the diameter of the freezer, which is only about that long. Well, you have to pull that out, and inside of that is going to be a plastic tube. That plastic tube is going to have a coil that's in it. It's going to have a metal coil that's inside of it that spans the length of it. And it's going to be connected to a wire. You have to unconnect that wire and take that thing out. Then you have to test it with an ohms meter, which I got in my car, to see if it still has some continuity to it. Well, we didn't even have to do that to hers, because as soon as I turned that thing over, the doggone plastic was blown out. It looked like it got hit by a bolt of lightning. I mean, it was burned right out like, poof. So I was looking at her like, okay, I've never done this before, so it didn't hit me as something strange. So I take it out, didn't have to test it. We already knew what was wrong with it. She goes and gets another one the next day, and I come back over. Cost her $72 to get it. Gets a nice one too. This one had a double coil in it. So we hook it back up, boom, put it in there, boom, bam, everything's working. So everything's working. She was like, yeah, it's working fine. Hits me up 3 days later. She's like, fridge stopped working. So now we had to defrost this thing and everything. We had to take a dryer and heat up the ice and get rid of all the ice in there because the defrost was not working. So you got just a bunch of just a slab of ice. We had to sit there, all that water come out, everything. So she hits me up and was like, it's not working. I come and I'm like, okay, so what do you think the problem is? The problem, she said, well, I think the same thing is happening. So it froze up again, which means the defrost is not working. Now you had 2 coils there now. How did you blow both of those coils out? Then she tells me, she says, well, my uncle, here we go. My uncle was fixing my garage and rewired my garage. And I said, that's what happened to your fridge. So basically, people think that if you rewire the garage, mess around with the wiring in it, it doesn't affect the house. Wrong. It affects the house. So basically, the garage blew. All the lights and everything. She was like, the lights in there, the circuit blew. And what happened is it surged and blew out her fridge. And that's what happened to it the first time. And that's what happened to it the second time. Blew it right out. Just like that. She's like, I'm just going to go ahead and sell the fridge. Because she can't have that sophisticated of a refrigerator in her house. It's going to blow every time. I said, the only thing that you can do is get a surge protector. And maybe the surge protector will help you. But she should have told me that from the beginning. As a matter of fact, she already knew about what the uncle had done, but you paid $500 for a refrigerator anyway. So there's nothing I can do. Plus you went past the warranty. There's nothing that I could do. I did everything in my expertise to help you. But, I had another story where I took a stove to this lady's house, plugged it in, and it blew my stove out. I still have it. It's in my kitchen downstairs. It blew the motherboard of my stove out. I took it to another lady's house who bought it, and it didn't work. But the lady was like, I really want the stove. Can you fix it? I'm $300-$400 in on this stove. I decided not to fix it. I'm not sure. It's just been sitting there for, 6 months right now. I can fix it and sell it for it, but I'm not going to get my money back. Nonetheless, so and that lady who, when I plugged the stove in, she told me the same thing. She was like, my uncle, always the uncle, rewired the house. And I told her, I said, I bet your wiring is off in here. Well, it cost me hundreds of dollars that her uncle rewired that house. I did. I had to figure out what was wrong with, why that lady's fridge blew out and why there was a big old hole in the plastic, because that's not normal. Usually, if a defrost element no longer works, you're not going to see black on it. It's just not, what's going to happen is you're going to see it's just disconnected. It's the same thing with the dryer. If your dryer is not getting hot anymore, some people think, oh, the computer. No, you have to take off the back of it, and there's two coils that are running up under. Once you take off the back of the dryer and you look up under it, you're gonna find these two coils that are there. You just take that thing out, you'll see if the coil is disconnected, that's why it's no longer heating up. You just take it and replace it with another coil, put it back in. Boom, bam, beans and ham. That's it. It's just not that hard, but you don't know because it's not what you do. But that same coil is what's inside of your refrigerator. It's just smaller. It has to heat up in order for everything to defrost. Well, if that defrost doesn't work, you're just going to have a big old slab of ice back there, and eventually that ice is going to stop your fridge from freezing. I mean, it doesn't make sense, but it makes sense. So, a lot of people, if, you have ice in your refrigerator, if you have like frost, if it's a newer refrigerator and you start seeing a lot of frost and stuff like that, your element is going bad. Yeah, your element's going bad. I had a lady, the same thing happened to her. I was like, well, let me look at your freezer. And I opened up her freezer. It was packed, but it was also packed with frost and ice. I said, well, now I know why your refrigerator is not, getting cold. I said, because your defrost isn't working, or else all this ice wouldn't be in here. And I was like, do you want me to fix? She was like, no. She didn't want to. I mean, she bought the fridge from me. I was like, it's not going to cost you much. She's like, no, that's fair. I don't know what to tell you. I can fix your fridge. I know what's wrong with it just by looking at it. No, I don't want it. She had an ice box, so she's just like, no, we'll just use this old ice box. And that's the last I heard from her. Sweet lady, though, because she calls me every now and then and asks me to move stuff for her. I stay in Columbus. But I do business everywhere. I mean, I'll go to Pittsburgh, Cleveland. If the price is right. If I can, if the, price is good, I'll go to Pittsburgh and Cleveland. Hell, I'll deliver out there if they pay me. But most people are not going to pay you. They're not going to pay you to deliver way out there. But you can go out there, like I purchase refrigerators from people who live 2-3 hours away. I look at it as just a vacation. Plus, I like towing stuff. I got 2 trucks now, and they both are ready to go. I just like hooking them up. You know what I'm saying? I made a video about towing. I didn't actually show me towing, but I made a video about it. So, but anyway, so that's my life. But that chapter of my life is coming to a screeching halt because my spine hurts, and it just hurts too bad. So eventually, I'm gonna have to get out of the fridge business and get into something else. I'm not sure. I might start flipping cars, but you can only flip 4 cars a year. But the good thing about that is you might only have to flip 4 cars a year. Not unless you get yourself a lot and it costs $10,000 to get a lot, which is not, that's not out of reach. I know this one lady, she used to sell cars. She used to sell cars out of another person's lot. And it was weird how they did it. It was illegal too. That's why I didn't want to deal with her. I was just like, what you doing ain't right. But she used to flip cars. That's how she made all her money. But you can only flip 4 cars a year. But they would go past that because they had somebody who owned a lot. And as long as he had that property, they can just be like, well, I sell it out of this lot. And it was, you know, A-OK. So what the guy would do is, of course, take a cut from whoever was using his lot to sell. So he was making money hand over fist. Because you can get 30, 40 people to come all say that they're flipping out of your lot. And whenever the pace comes after them, they be like, yeah. And the guy vouches for you as long as you're greasing his palm. It's just like, oh, that's just beautiful. You know what I mean? But that's what she used to do. And when I was telling her about what I do, she was like, yeah, I miss doing work like that. Because you can go on vacation when you want. You can do whatever you want, and that's pretty much it. If you don't want to do anything, you can just lay up here or go somewhere. You just do what you want. You're not constricted by anything but the customer. You know what I mean? So I wasn't making anywhere near what she's doing. I mean, I'm not even anywhere close to that, but the potential is there. But I'm thinking if I get into cars, I was looking at people who do that. Basically, what they do is they go down to the auction. People are always getting their stuff repoed. So you go and grab a car for $2,000, you take it to a shop, put, $1.5 grand in it. Now you have, $3,500 car that's worth 10 grand. Flip it for 8.5. You make what? Almost 6 grand on one flip. That's not bad at all. You know what I'm saying? And if you get a nicer car, it's newer, and you really feel like putting the money into it, let's just say you put 5 G's into it, but it's a 2015 Chevy Tahoe LTZ. What do you think that's going to go for? You know what I'm saying? You throw 5 grand into it, what do you think that's going to go for? It's going to go for 24 grand, 25 grand. Easy. Easy. You know what I'm saying? You drop the price to 21 grand, boom, you just made 15 grand on one exchange. One exchange, boom. So I'm cool with trying that game out. You know what I'm saying? It can be expensive when it comes to the repairs, though. Yeah, so you got to have yourself some bank, So you gotta have a decent amount of money to start off with. I would say, at least 5 G's. Start off with operating expenses. 5 G's that ain't gonna hurt you. You know what I'm saying? If you got that, you can go buy a car for 2 G's. Like I said, put 2 G's into it, flip it, and hopefully get 10 grand out of it. Or see what the blue book value is. The blue book value tells you it's 10 to 12 grand. Then you sell it for 10 grand. By the time you bargain everything down, you might end up being at about 9.2, 9.3. Still, it's a good flip. You know what I'm saying? You come out 6, 7 grand. Do the same thing, rinse, repeat. Stay with the same type of car or the same financial, you know what I'm saying? You can stay flipping $2,000 cars and put 2 into it. Or you can take that 7 grand and gamble it because it's not your savings. It's just business money. So it's all a business account. It's all business account that you're messing with. You're not messing with anything that's going to break you. It's all business. It's all credit and debit. That's all it is. And you look at it and say, okay, well, now I got 9.5 in the bank. Do I want to, go look at something that's worth 5 grand and then put 3 grand into it? Is it going to leave you with a grand in your pocket to play with? I'm just saying hypothetically, but that's what the business is. And here's the beautiful thing about the car business: it's never going to run out. So even if you flip 4 cars and you get up to 30,000 in the bank, you can't flip no more that year. That's where the real detriment is. You can only flip, so many a year. But let's say you get 30, 35, 40 G's in the bank. And like I said, it's all credit debit. You can turn around and put that into something that has no government regulation on it. You can get back in the fridges, but you got to have a good back for that. So, no. But I mean, you can start looking at houses. Only thing about houses is the flip is slower. So I know a guy who flips houses, cars, and he has a regular day job, and his wife has a job. Like, this guy has a good job. You know what I mean? But he flips condos, he flips cars. He'll flip anything that he can get his hands on because he's a nerdy dude who likes to hustle. You know what I mean? I sold him a fridge. He just loves the hustle. He's ADD like a mud though. He's the ADDest dude, but he's making money. So that hustle is still there too. So you can get yourself the long-term flip, the short-term flip, and then you can get yourself the flip in the middle. Short-term flip, fridges. 2 weeks and out, you usually flip a fridge. A little longer, cars, because it needs to be fixed. So month, maybe 2, boom, cars. Longer, houses. Of course, more money goes into that. So I was talking to some guys who flip houses, and one guy was like, what did he say? He put 10,000 into a house. He got 25,000 out of it, something like that. And that's what he does. He even bought his son a Rolex. His little boy was bragging about having a Rolex. But that's what he does. He flips houses. They don't care about the appliance. They give them to me. But that's what they do. They flip houses. So you got the long term, short term, but the houses, you're gonna have to put a lot of contractor work into it. Like anything, you gotta learn about it. If you're not a contractor, you're gonna be one. I used to be a storm chaser, or I used to work with them, so I learned a lot about houses. But you're gonna need a contractor. You're gonna need a few of them. You're gonna need electricians. They all want their money. You know what I'm saying? People who are gonna build your counters and all that. You know what I'm saying? I know a lady she built a brand new house in the hood, brand new spanking house. It was frustrating because it didn't move yet. So you have that kind of thing going on. You can put all this money into a house, might not move for a year. Her problem is she made a bunch of money off of flipping other houses, but she really didn't have a side hustle. She was so codependent on flipping the next house. Like, she had a hustle, but she made so much money off of flipping houses that it became her mainstay. So when the house didn't flip as fast as she wanted to, she got frustrated because she wasn't doing anything except sitting around in a brand new house that she wanted to flip. You know what I mean? So I'm just like, nah, I want to keep another hustle going on. So right now I'm in between hustles. People are in between jobs. I'm in between hustles. My body's not going to let me keep doing what I'm doing, and that's fine. But now I'm to the stage where I can go, what else do I want to do? So I'm in between hustles. I'm looking for the next one. I don't have the money to flip houses yet. I'd like to start. If I'm going to flip houses, I would like to start off with 10 grand that I don't need. That's 10 grand. If I lost the 10 grand, I'm okay. And for me to have 10 grand to lose 10 grand and like not be completely hurt, I would have to be somewhere around 90. I don't have that kind of money. You feel me? But or 10 grand that I invest in something that I can wait for a year before it turns to fruition. I don't have that. I, I don't have that. So I wouldn't mind getting there though. You know what I'm saying? Because I know some wealthy people. Well, one guy, he's a millionaire. He's irritating as hell, but he is a millionaire because he flips houses and he owns a bunch of property all across the United States. You wouldn't think about it if you see him. He's another nerdy dude. He works for, well, he's a number cruncher. He's an accountant. But he loves to buy, redo, and then rent out places. It's like a catharsis for him. He gets way into it. You know what I mean? He's a little strange to me, though. And I think he's got a touch of racism in him. Once I felt it, I didn't like it. Something just made me look at him and go, nah, you're a white dude. I got two trucks. I got a Chevy Avalanche and I got a Chevy Tahoe. Both with the same size engine. One is a lot smoother than the other one. The older one is smoother. The newer one is the suspension on it is almost like a racing suspension. But I have 20s on it though. So the ride is bumpier. The car's faster too. I don't know, my Tahoe can get up, but that Avalanche got some power on it. It's got some boost in it. I like it. Yeah, I don't know. I don't talk to him anymore. Every now and then they want to buy a fridge from me, but I caught him right when he was furnishing a whole area over on the west side. So he was like, I need a bunch of refrigerators. So I was selling them to him, and then he hooked me up with his friend. But they saw that all I was doing was getting them off Facebook and then selling it to them at a premium. They were like, why are we buying them from you? We can just go down to Lowe's and, because they get a deal from Lowe's to buy. And I was like, go ahead. Knock stuff out. I haven't heard from him since, but I sold 5 refrigerators to him. Yeah. And I sold 1 to his friend, 2 to his two to his friend. So I made good money off of him. I didn't mind. And I haven't heard from him, since. But I meet those guys all the time. Meet landlords all the time. It's just that this guy, I don't know. He just start making me feel like he was coming at me wrong. And I didn't like that. Like, what I'm saying? I have a college degree too. Don't look at me like, just because I'm delivering refrigerators, I make more money, especially if I was younger. I could make more money doing this than I could working in one of these goofy buildings, listening to somebody tell me what to do who doesn't know what they're doing. That's the truth. The hustle game is real. The hustle game is unlimited. You can keep up with it. If you can physically keep up with the hustle game, the sky's the limit. You can make as much money as you want. So my game has to change because I can't physically keep doing it. But yeah, I mean, maybe a millionaire, but I ain't broke. Like, I'm not begging you for I'm begging you for anything. Not at all. Begging nobody. Get up when I want, go to sleep when I want. Yeah. Up in these goofy buildings. Listen to these white women looking at you funny. Start whispering. Turn on you in a heartbeat. Security. I don't have to put up with none of that. Wear my hair the way I want to. You be calling me to ask me to fix your fridge. And I'm going to charge the hell out of you. Now, I just think it's funny. I'll go in there, check out your fridge, tell you what's wrong with it, and charge you $100 for it. I ain't got no problem with that. I'm just saying that the hustle game has changed my whole outlook on life because they wouldn't hire me. These people wouldn't hire me. These races, even black races, they would just harass me. They wouldn't hire me. It was like I was worth nothing. But you get a little bit of knowledge in the hustle game, and things just change. You're just like, I don't have to work at those places. I don't have to listen to your mouth, Melissa. You know what I'm saying, Sarah? I don't have to listen to you, Dave. To listen to none of y'all. I don't have to do nothing. I don't have to do nothing. What, Dave? Nah, I don't think I'm gonna listen to you today. Don't you just want to say that to your boss? Dave just comes over to your cubicle. Anthony. Yeah. Listen, I'm gonna need you to work over today, but I don't think we're gonna pay you for overtime. But you do it or lose your job, something like that. I don't know, something like that. Anyway, you go ahead and stay about 5 hours overtime tonight, and you're not getting paid for it. And I'm gonna go home, and my wife and kids talk to you later, Anthony. You're just like, no. Give the finger and get up and leave. Like, Dave, you do it. And I'm gonna go home and eat dinner with your wife. Yeah, I'll be at home eating dinner with your wife. You do it. Oh man, Karens. Look, I knew Karens long before they were called Karens. I've dealt with them shoddy ass triple whopper eating, big slushy sipping, black and white Karens. I've dealt with them. Hate you. Oh, they used to hate me. Now I don't have to deal with them. Get you fired because you won't deal with them. You don't like them, so they get you fired. Look at you. Ew, you're ugly. Be like, thank you. I'm like, yeah, I'm not going to do anything with this. How you doing today? You going to work? Yeah, you have a good time there. I'm going to sleep. Yeah, they only love to use you. Oh, all day. You guys going to work? Yeah, I'm going to sleep. I just love the hustle game, man. I tell anybody, get into a hustle, even if you got a 9 to 5. Like the one dude I met, man, this dude bought my stove. This guy has a hot dog stand he bought for his woman. He has he has a taxi, which he only does Medicare. So for people in wheelchairs, he got like 9 of those going on. I'm like, dude, I need to come run around with you. He's got he flipping cars. Like that's what I'm talking. Like, and he was working a 9 to 5. Listen, he was working a 9 to 5. Go grab a pizza. No, I got some food in here. This guy was working a 9 to 5, right? And the wife was like, yo, you should start driving a taxi. So he was driving a taxi, and he was like, the white people would get out and run off on him and wouldn't pay him a fee and call him the N-word. So then he started doing the wheelchair and getting all his money from the government. I was like, you don't even have to deal with that. He was like, I got every now and then I have somebody private, but for the most part, I get all my money through the government. I'm like, that's my next hustle. How to get my money through the government. That's where I'm going. Because that government hustle right now is real. Trump is getting money in people's hands. Now, a lot of people are doing it illegally. I'm not interested in that. But nonetheless, the government is giving out some jack, baby. So I'm interested in that. But this guy has like 9 different hustles. I'm like, my man. I love hooking up with people like that. Love it. Because all that crying I did trying to work for the government, trying to get in there and get my foot in the door and be a family man, all that is it's all gone. Now I just want to be a hustler. I just want to hustle. I want to go to bed when I want to. I want to wake up when I want to. I want to do what I want, when I want, however I want. Oh, he killing it. It ain't low key. That brother's killing it. He's 40 years old too. He's young. I'm like, do it. He's talking about how his wife don't want to do anything. He's like, I went and bought her that cart. Cost me $3,000 to get her that hot dog cart. I said, but that's your passion, not hers. He's like, yeah, that's true. He's like, I went, she wanted to get into fitness and get in the gym and stuff like that. I went and got her, a little building so she can blah, blah, blah. The people wasn't coming, so she quit that. I was like, and she tried something that didn't work. Try something else. He's like, well, I just don't want her sitting around. I was like, yeah, but can't push her out the door. You gotta give her some options and say, hey, you need to do something. What do you want to do? You gotta find out what she loves. That's what I told him. He's like, well, I'm out here doing it. I was like, but you love what you do. She doesn't love being a taxi. She's the one that told me to do this. I was like, yeah, but you love what you do. If she doesn't love what she's doing, then she's not going to stay. Regardless of it, she tried something she loved, it didn't work. She got to try something else, but whatever she gets into, she has to love it. And once she finds it, you're going to be asking her to come home. That's exactly what's going to happen to this guy. He's upset because she ain't getting out the house and doing stuff, and I'm just like, that woman is high-powered. She is. She is a powder keg, just waiting. She got all that energy. She in the fitness too. All she's doing is waiting and looking. And as soon as something comes up, that she can make money at and keep you quiet because you pushing her out the door. As soon as she finds it, she's gonna latch onto it and she ain't gonna let go. And you're gonna be trying to get her black behind home. It's not gonna work. She's gonna be like, baby, I'm out here getting this money just like you told me to. Yeah, but I still need you to be home. Not gonna work. Yeah. Yeah. It's not gonna work. And they're gonna come to a crossroads. They are. They're gonna come to a crossroads. Yeah. Because you better believe any woman in the fitness, trying something, looking for something, you know what I'm saying? She done been encouraging you to get out there and do stuff. Went out there nice, successful. She's sitting at home thinking, but now what you done did was you told her to her face, you need to do something. You can't just be at home. What you should have did was, you got any ideas? And she would have presented a whole list of ideas that she had. But now she's going to get some fire under her feet. And she's going to be thinking about you telling her she can't stay home. That's different. It's almost being spiteful. So she's going to go out and find something and she's going to get into it deep. I don't care if it's crocheting. She'll be down at the crochet club with a whole quilt and a half. Needle pointing up some stuff. In, out, in, out, 3, in and out, in and out. She'll be down there needle pointing up some stuff. And when you try to get her at home, she'll be so entranced in the needle pointing that she ain't gonna come home until, and all her little wifely duties. I was making money. I just sold that quilt, for $300. Took me 2 hours to make. What do you want me to do? 2 hours to make made $300. What are we doing? What are we talking about? Want me to stop? What are we talking about? Well, yeah, we covered Ice Cube, man. I agree. Ice Cube is not. He's not a representative of us. But big ups to him. Yeah. Big ups to him if he wants to try to get money in our pocket. If he wants to get money in our pocket, Ben sold out. He's a poster boy for sellouts. Never been a gangster. Can't name me one person he shot and killed. Can't name me one person he shot. Has Ice Cube ever been to jail? I don't know one person he actually fought. He actually knuckled up with. Like, we would know about that, wouldn't we? Has he ever busted cap into anybody's ass? I'm good. I'm good. I don't think he's ever busted cap in anybody. Unless you guys know something I don't. Ice Cube ever busted cap in anybody's ass? All right, you guys, I gotta go. It's good talking to you guys, but I gotta go. I gotta eat. Take it easy. God loves you, so do I.